We love you for your existence, whether you help us with anything or not. We just simply love you because you exist. Your existence is enough. You don't do no favors. You just simply exist in your skin, in your entity. That is enough. You are enough on your own outside of anything that you accomplish. Even if you accomplish nothing, you are everything just because you exist.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
All right, y'all. We're back with another episode. We're here with Kira J. Kira, I've been looking forward to this episode for a while. I ain't gonna lie. So first of all, tell the people who you are.
My name is Kira J. I am a spoken word artist, author, creative, all-around creative, filmmaker, mama, and most importantly, a Leo.
A Leo, most important. Okay, listen. When you start talking about what's the zodiac signs, bro? Listen, Kira, I'm out of here. I don't even know.
What's your
all I know, I'm a Capricorn. So what is that?
You just work.
Oh, that's what that says about me?
Mm-hmm.
All I do is work.
Work. Business very serious. But we appreciate that because that's what we hear.
No, that's a fact. You know what's crazy though? That is kind of true. I can't. Normally when I hear like the zodiac, like what do they call it? Like the
stereotypes.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not really true. But that one, I ain't gonna lie, I really do just be about my business and that's it, bro. Like I just really want to.
That's all Capricorn.
Express yourself, Black man, and really that's it, man. Damn, that might be facts. That might be facts. But listen, look, man. We shared one of your poems.
Yes, I appreciate you guys.
No, for sure. No, I appreciate you for making it because, like I said, I feel like a lot of times Black men don't hear enough of that. And it was really edifying for us. And so I wanted to talk to you about that piece. First of all, like what inspired it and why did you feel the need to create it?
So interestingly enough, that poem is actually a letter to my daughter's father when he got incarcerated. So he's been arrested this time since 2021. And he had always been going in and out the system since we were kids. But it was something about this time that we both kind of knew that he wasn't going to just come home from it.
Really?
And we were on the phone and we were both just like crying because I knew and he knew that this was about to be a long bid. And instead of writing him a letter, the next time that we communicated, I was like, I just wrote you this poem. And that's why, I started off with saying, y'all pray for you tonight. And I just go into all of the things about they could take away your freedom. They can't take your crown. Like you're locked up, but you're not like gone. Like we still here with you. We still riding with you, and just hopefully helps him get through the beginning of his sentencing.
I was thinking, because I was like, I know I see you with your daughter a lot, and I haven't necessarily seen him and stuff. Right. So I was going to ask you about that too. So like that explains a lot. I
prayed for you was just a letter to him when he got arrested.
And we were talking about, like you said, it did well on our platform.
Yes.
And so what I was saying to you, the reason why I was saying that it did well is because I feel like a lot of us as Black men don't hear Black women talk about us enough like that on social media. Like I'm lucky enough to have a lot of Black women in my actual circle that I'm friends with, that I talk to, that I know like actually like build me up and affirm me. But I feel like a lot of men, if it's not about like romantic relationships, they don't really have relationships or like conversation or community with Black women. And so like a lot of their community or like their understanding of like Black women is based on social media. And sometimes social media is not the greatest place to be getting that type of understanding from. So I feel like it did really well because they were seeing a Black woman that they don't normally see Black women like really just like speaking life into them. And we don't get I just feel like sometimes we don't get enough of that like affirmation.
And I take responsibility for that as well.
Okay, explain.
I can't get up here and say that it's untrue when I was responsible for so many years for so much of the content that was attacking men. So I'm not going to get up here and cap like I've just always been speaking love and light. I do have the duality to say you got me fucked up, but you're a king at the same time. You know what I mean? But I think that, unfortunately, my negative work has done numbers that lap around my positive work. So it's hard for my positive work to get the platform to shine. Because again, I Prayed for You was written in 2021. It's just going viral in 2025. I've been wrote that poem. I've been writing like that. Yeah. But that's not necessarily something that has ever been highlighted from the community with me. My negative stuff when I'm angry at men tends to does 10 million, numbers. And it's like, that's why I say I just take responsibility, because if Black men have felt like everything online is negative and geared towards them, then that was me with the pitchforks in the front of the line, so.
You know what's so crazy? Can I be honest with you? Mm-hmm. So, remember I told you I knew you before I started expressing to a Black man? Mm-hmm. That's what I knew you for. Mm-hmm. I knew you for like that type of work. And I always, so here's the thing, right? When I would see some of that content, it would get shared by this specific friend that I had. Okay? It would, listen, look, I'm keeping this, I'm always going to keep it a stack on this platform. I'm never going to lie. It would be this one specific friend that I had that was going through problems with like men. And she would always emotionally dump on me, like, this is what happened with this guy. And it could be like 2 a.m. I would get a call from this girl. And she'd be like, yo, you got time? And I'm like, no, I'm sleeping. You know what I'm saying?
But not, in fact.
Exactly. But be going straight into the conversation and the story about this guy that violated her. And I would tell her, like, yo, you got to stop, like, giving so much to these dudes so quickly. And I would give her the same advice. And every single time she would just ignore it. And then she would share stuff like that. I'm like, yo, this, you can't share this, but then also not have the discernment when you're working with or messing with these dudes. So I'm saying all that to say, like, I remember seeing your content, and when she would share it, I would go on your page. I'm like, all right, let me see what this is about. And I would see other stuff and see other stuff. It never made me like, I'm not one of those people that, like, when I see content that I don't agree with, that I go and comment and I feel like I gotta argue with the person. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to understand.
How do we get here?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one thing I've always loved about Black men specifically, because to be honest, no matter how much I would just get online and say, I hate y'all niggas, and it was just like an outpouring of support, because it's like y'all knew I wasn't like mad for real. It's like, she hurt. Somebody hurt her. Like, are you okay? Like, and I've just always been met with community no matter what I would get online and say. It would just be, I would say the most outlandish things, and you beautiful queen. Why don't you hate me? Let's go to war together. And they're just like, no, like I've never really received the energy I gave out. It was just always met with so much patience of men trying to wait until I got out of that season.
Yeah.
We out of that season now.
I love that. With that being said, right, because you kind of talked about like some of the like the gender wars that we see on social media and like how we navigate that. What do you think are some things that we can do as Black men to better support you guys?
Hold your friends accountable. I say that because as a woman who considers myself a good woman, it can lead me to be naive to believe that every woman operates as I do.
Okay.
I've never cheated on anyone. I don't belittle men. I don't talk about them financially, talk about their appearance. That's not in my body. But that's not enough. I need to check my friends or the women around me when I see them doing the things that I don't agree with. Ooh. Hey, you moving in a way that's not conducive to how we supposed to be operating. Why are you talking to him like that? You think that's a respectful way to speak to your partner? It's my job as a woman to call it out. It's me being good on my own is not enough. So I say, as a Black man, if you consider yourself a good Black man, then in order for you to change, being good is not enough. You have to correct the men who are moving out of character with the way you think that Black women should be treated. And it starts with your homeboys. It's a lot of people that turn a blind eye when they see the disrespect, when they see it on social media. It's like, how? Because we naive. And we think that I would never do that, but you're not doing anything when you see it being done.
Right.
So I think that Black men could better support Black women by just checking out friends sometimes, holding men accountable sometimes and say, hey, that's not what we're doing. Because we can't all do it by ourselves.
And you know what's so crazy? It's not crazy. I have to do that with my friends. And there's friends that I don't talk to because I can't do that with them.
Same. It's a lot of women that is just like, you do what? Like, I can't. If If I don't agree with it and I can't coach you out of that or love you through that, then what are we in alignment for? I don't want anybody to say that a person around me was on some BS, because then that would mean that I agree with it and I'm co-signing it. So we have to just be accountable for checking each other.
Yeah. And you know what? Oh, man. I'm glad you said that you do that too. Because I think about this story, right? So, like, one of the like stimulants or like the catalyst for me actually starting this platform was me getting out of a relationship after I got cheated on. I didn't know that I got cheated on until my shorty at the time had told me. But the only reason why she told me is because she had told one of her friends that was my best friend's like girl. She had told her like, yo, this is what I did. And that girl was like, yo,
you gotta tell
you wildin'. Exactly. You gotta tell him or I will. And if she hadn't have done that,
she would have took
Kira, I probably would have still been in a relationship to this day.
Took it to the grave.
Bro, I'm telling you. So I always think about that. Like, yo, we can't just be out here watching people do dirt and just being like, well, my hands are clean. No, once you know this dirt, you dirty too.
You're dirty too if you don't do something.
Exactly.
And it allows you to be naive, because if you sit in your own experiences of the things that you would never do.
Yeah.
And to say, even if you hanging out with friends that would never do it.
Yeah.
So it's like me and all my good girl ass friends, we just over here like, yeah, women are good. And it's like, girl, no, there are some fucked up people out there. And I really did not know, because I don't align with them type of women.
Yeah.
Until I started making male friends. And then they told me like,
yo, this is what they be
women
doing.
be cheating, women be talking crazy. I'll be like, you're lying. I was so naive. You can't tell me we wasn't always the victim. So when I start finding out like, wait, men be getting cheated on? Yeah. Men be getting lied to? Men be getting belittled? I thought them was women problems, but this is when you expand your horizons of what you think that you know.
Nah, that's a fact. And you know what's so important about that? Like what I got out of that is that you actually talked to men.
Yes. I have so many male friends now.
Yeah. And it's important. I tell men all the time, like, if you want to be in a relationship with a black woman, you got to talk to black women platonically. Not on some, I'm trying to get in your drawers. Like, you got to actually have friendships with black women.
I'll tell you, platonic intimacy might be the only reason that I don't get on these platforms and still talk shit about men. Because
really?
I'm not able to say, fuck these niggas and fuck him and all of the things. Talking about my relationship experiences when my homeboys still have to hear it. One of my homeboys told me one time, like, when you get up there and you say, men ain't shit, am I not a man? You don't think I hear that? You don't think that affects me when you say that? Like, I'm just, men ain't shit, but not you though. Like, no, that affects me. So even if you're not talking to me, you're talking to me. How would you feel if I got up there and said, women ain't shit? I don't get to say, well, not you though, Kira. You know what I mean?
Right.
Damn, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
I really gotta stop.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact. So a lot along those lines, right? So I know we talk about how black men can, or how black men can better support black women. I want to flip that. Outside of accountability, because you're already doing that, how can black women better support black men? What do you think of some things?
There was a study done one time, and it showed that a black man is less likely to get hired with a degree than a white man is to get hired with a criminal record.
Wait, say that again?
A black man with a degree is less likely to get hired than a white man with a criminal record. They've done studies on it. The white man, criminal record, no degree. The black man, all of the things, and he's still less likely to get hired. Damn. I mention that because it was a government plan in place to make sure that the black man was emasculated, right? It started with taking the women and abusing us so you could feel like you can't protect your family. And then as times evolved, it has transitioned into financial emasculation. So if you have an entire country that is making sure almost that black men are under the feet of everybody when it comes to economics, when it comes to the power structures in place, that you ultimately we're setting it up so that you can't out-earn the women. I think that black women can better support black men by not judging them by their accolades or acts of service. I think that we need to look at black men beyond their earning capital.
Right.
Because we are living in a country that is systematically trying to oppress black men financially. A Black man may never be able to step into my shoes and do what I do and make what I make. And that is not an accident. That is on purpose. It is planned out to make sure that the Black woman can go get all the degrees and go get all the money and go do all of the things so that we can then look at our man like, damn, nigga, what you doing? So as Black women, we just can't fall for that. You can't fall for that. Don't fall for what they're trying to do to make you feel like your man ain't shit if he don't have what you have or he don't make what you make. I think that the first way we could better support Black men is stop looking at their pockets before their characters and hearts.
Ooh, that's what I sound like talking to these poets. I love talking to poets because y'all be having the bars. Man. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, that's a clip right there. Yeah, they gonna love that, Kira. They gonna love that. Nah. You got anything else for that? Or you good? You say? Nah, listen. I ain't gonna lie, Kira. That was fire. Nah, I love that. You have a post, right? You said anything, let me get this right. You said anything a woman loves, she nurtures. Anything a man loves, he protects.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
I think that whether we choose to have children or not, women are born mothers. It is just something in us that wants to grow things. That's why we like plants, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we like cooking, because it allows us to create meals. We are creators. We are the life bringers. Every woman is born with all the eggs in her body that she will ever have. So nurturing is in our bloodline. And on the flip end of that, men are born with the testosterone that just makes them stronger and makes them a different type of alert and makes them want to keep things safe. So can a man nurture a woman? Absolutely. Can a woman protect her man? Absolutely. But the way I'm going to cover you in this nurture when I love you, and the way you're going to wrap me in protection when you love me, that's where our synergy comes into play. Because everybody says they want a relationship and match the energy. You know what synergy means? When the sum of two things coming together is greater than it can ever be on its own. So if I bring this here and you bring this here and we make this, we could only do that together. So I nurture you and you protect me and we could really take over the world for real. And then when I'm saying protection from a man, right, I'm not talking about beat somebody up for me. I'm talking about that mental protection.
Explain what that feels like, looks like. Do you have examples? Because I think a lot of times for us as men, we need tangible stuff.
Okay, so the tangible things.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Women, I know I'm gonna get flack for saying this, but we do operate off emotion a lot.
Okay.
We do. But that's our superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're operating off our emotion, nothing is logical. This is how I feel.
Right.
This is what I feel.
Right.
Sometimes I might need my man to come and protect me from those emotional hurdles that are trying to attack me. Mm-hmm. I might need you to come and keep my name safe when the world is trying to play with me. Mm-hmm. And even being heard out by your man, it just feels, it's like a safety that I can't even fully explain. Like, even if you can't fix it, even if you can't do anything about the problem I'm facing, just because I know that I can come to you with the problem, I feel safe. Oh. You're my Superman. Whether you got a solution or not, I just want to know that I can come to you. And I'm going to feel like you can fix it if I can come to you. Right. That's just like a ultimate level of mental protection, emotional protection, and that physical protection. I might need you to don't play with her for me. You know what I mean? Like, so I love it. I love it. And again, when I'm speaking on love, I'm speaking on Black love. Because I don't feel safe with men, but I feel safe with Black men. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Kira, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about, I don't need nobody else to protect me but my brothers. Listen, it's nothing that nobody can do for me.
Listen. Dr. Umar has a saying. I forgot what he said. He says, I think he said, I'm going to mess it up, man. I think he says, Black woman forever, snow bunnies never. I love that. Listen,
you know what's funny? Yeah, I heard someone who every month sends me money.
Okay.
On my Cash App or my PayPal, and then they email me. And they have been trying for like the last few years to get me to date outside of my race.
Really?
They just send me money and messages. Please try a white man. We can treat you better than this. Every time I see you complain, it's because what the Black man is doing, they just like clockwork. That train is never late. They are trying. They done been on my Twitter. I block the page, they make a new one. They email me from all of my emails. It's like an insistent person that is telling me, I need to let y'all go. Let it go. These black men are not loving you right. That's why you're not married. Try the white man. We will worship you. I'm like, not falling for it.
Kira, no.
I promise you. They're trying to recruit. They're trying to recruit my black ass.
Yo, what?
And that's the crazy thing about it, because it's like when I have spoken about heartbreak and hating men, it was never like I hate black men.
Right.
When I'm talking about the things that I go through with men, that's not black men specific. It's why I have female followers from all races. Because the white men is cheating too, and the Asian men is cheating too, and the Indian men, and all of the men are doing the things to the women that we as women can collectively relate to. So I don't know why this person thought that my platform was centered around me hating black men. No. I hated all of you. But they have been just emailing and cash apping, and I just be like, well, it's not going to work, but thanks for the money.
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected black community, starting with black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
I don't have problems with interracial relationships, right? But I do, I'm going to be honest with you. I do be feeling some type of way when I see like a black woman that I'm like, yo, this is a really prominent black woman, and she's not with a black man. I'm going to be honest with you. Because for me, I think to myself, like, damn, we missed out. Like, we missed out as a community. We missed out as, like, just man.
How did we fumble this?
Yeah, how did we exactly?
Like, how
did we fumble Akira or whoever?
Serena.
Right. No, I ain't gonna lie. Serena hurt me. But it is what it is. Yeah, I said it is what it is. Listen. If you happy and you in love and everything is good, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I wish we were able to get there quicker. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, some of these white men ain't playing fair, whoever it is, because they out here cash apping y'all. And,
yeah.
Nah, they're
swinging.
Nah, they're
swinging.
Wow.
But I've learned enough about my oppressor not to fall for their tricks. You will not catch me. You think I just ignored the last 400 years? I know what you're trying to do. I'm not going for it. They are trying to control us with the dollars. I will not fall for it. It's shenanigans. I seen Get Out. You will not catch me. I'm having a black husband. Every month. I'm like, no.
No way. Nah, that's crazy. You really got like, have you ever heard of like, I don't want to get too off tangent because we're going to get back on par, but there's like doms, like female doms or femdom and stuff like that.
Dom,
yeah.
stem.
You basically got that right now.
I'm trying to tell you.
Nah, that's crazy, bro. So with that being said, right, like I know we've been talking about like kind of like black women and black men and like our relationships. I feel like there's a lot of healing that needs to get done. Yes, there's a lot of healing that needs to get done. And you recently kind of went through your own like healing journey and process and stuff, right?
Yes.
So talk to me about like what made you stop writing and like performing for a year. Like why did you decide to do that? I think you moved to New York, or you were like, what was that process like, and why did you decide to do that? What did you learn?
It was a crash out.
Really?
It was a bad crash out.
Why? What happened?
You know how when the car is staring and then you go into a tree?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like the car was standing. I crashed into the tree and the car kept going and the tree knocked over. And I went into the water, and then it went into the water and it blew up. Like it was a crash out. I crashed out bad.
Oh, no.
I crashed out so bad. I lost so many of my friendships. I lost my house. I lost my sanity.
What?
And I was just like, whew, I need a break. I need to get back to things before everything started to get so out of control. And I knew that I had to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had to stop having sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I had to stop performing.
Mm-hmm.
I say that because what was expected of me in that space of being a performer, I was still in a season of Toxic Kara. Toxic Kara was like a character. Like I create different characters for my seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And Toxic Kara was the one that was fuck these niggas and, doing all of the things. And people wanted so much of that from me. And I was like, the only way for me to heal is to stop performing so that I could go and be who I need to be right now. And I had to move back home. I had to go to therapy. I've been in therapy for over a year now.
Word, love it.
I locked my hair. This
Love
thing
it.
your brother was talking about, it's such a spiritual thing because you can't get them locks until you're ready. This shit is not a style. I've been talking about locks since high school. When I went on my healing journey, I said, you know what? It's time. I started my locks myself in the room. And that was the day that everything just started shifting for me. So it was an extreme crash out that I was just like, life cannot go on like this. What's next? We can't keep harboring all of this anger, all of this pain, because at some point, it's a difference between a cry for help and a cry for attention.
Right.
Do you want the help or do you want the attention? I've got the attention. I've got 1 million followers across social media collectively. What next? Do you want to actually heal? And I was like, yeah, I want to heal. Yeah. So I just had to stop and disappear to get better.
Damn. So take me through what your healing journey looked like. I know you say you're in therapy. What have you learned? Has there been anything that's been uncovered so far? Like, have you because I know therapy, like when you've been in there for a year, so I know there has been a little something that you've had. Are you comfortable sharing it?
Yes. So therapy has taught me how to be confrontational.
Okay.
And I think that there's a lot of negative connotation on the word confrontational because we think argumentative and looking for a problem. But confrontational just literally means confronting your problems. I've never been a confrontational person. I've been yo, what's up? We got an issue? Like, either we gonna talk about this and rah, 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 or we gonna fight. So therapy has taught me how to say, hey, can I talk to you real quick? I don't like how, you did this. And then I operate from a space now of saying, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said by me right now? And if I can answer yes to all three of those questions, we're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna talk about this shit. And it has also taught me how to have chronological goals. As an entrepreneur, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that we have so much that we want to do. And if you don't have a team, then you're stuck trying to do 20 things at once. My therapist has really helped me with my chronological goals. So if I write down 20 things that I want to do, stop and put them in order of what has to get done first. And then boom, you only have one thing to do. And then you move on to the next thing. You can't do 20 things at once. That's how you burn out. That's how you have anxiety attacks. That's how you have panic attacks and all of the things. So those, I want to say, are my top 2 lessons that I've learned. Like, be confrontational and set your goals in a chronological order. And she really puts the emphasis on my drinking. Like, I can't drink like everybody else can drink. I still have had my moments during this year where I've relapsed and I crash out and I get back on cue. Yeah. But that's therapy has definitely helped me with my drinking problem.
I have a couple questions for you now. When you say drinking problem, one, would you classify yourself as an addict? Would you say you're an addict or no? Or you feel like you use it as a...
I was definitely an alcoholic.
Okay.
And it started real bad because of COVID. It didn't even start real bad during the season of my crash out. My crash out just took it to a whole nother level. Because during COVID, the city closed. A lot of people don't realize that New Yorkers, we was more affected than everybody else in the country. Yeah. We couldn't even go outside. So I bought an at-home bar. And I started drinking every day during COVID, which I thought, okay, I got this under control. 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022, 2022 to 2023. I'm drinking every day. It's no problem because I have a handle on it. My daughter's coming up to me and telling me it's a problem. She done caught me throwing up in the bathroom and passed out on the floor and on the side of the car. I'm going to the clubs with my friends. I'm throwing up on the side of the buildings. And when you drink to the point of constantly being sloppy like that, this ain't regular. Yeah. But I'm doing it so much that I don't even see it's an issue. I'm wiping my mouth, I'm getting some gum, and I'm going back to the party. Right. I was so far gone in the alcoholism that I didn't even realize I was alcoholic. Right. I was drinking every day, and then I was dating this dude, and he had commented on one of my stories like, you realize that before your story of your last drink can expire, it's another drink in your hand. Less than 24 hours later, it's just, I'm clicking through, it's drink. And I'm like, is it that deep? Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah, why you clocking me?
Why you clocking my drinking?
Yeah.
Then when I got robbed, I talked about this before. I had a break-in in my crib in 2023.
What?
This is the start of the crash out.
Uh-oh.
Someone kicked my door in.
They kicked your door in? While you was in there?
I wasn't there.
Oh,
I got home and I sank into the floor because they kicked the door in, snatched TVs off the walls, took belongings. And I felt so unsettled, specifically as a public figure, because I'm like, who did this? Like, is this someone I know? Is this someone that saw me and followed me home? Is this a random break-in? Like, I didn't know, and I was so scared. And I'm not from Houston. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't have my brothers and my daddy or anybody I can call that can get here real quick. So I'm just panicked. I don't have any of that around me. So then I moved, but then I was still drinking every night just to fall asleep. And that's how the drinking went from me drinking every day to me drinking a bottle a day. And it's just like my liquor budget was so high.
I was spending bands on liquor.
Listen, It was like, yo, you got a problem. So when I downloaded the Sober app, they tell you to put how much in you spend on your alcohol. And then over time, we'll show you how much you're saving. Man, wasn't that an incentive to quit right there? I was like, I've been spending this much money on being crashed out.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, I was definitely an alcoholic.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. So we about to do, I don't know if it wasn't you. We're about to do a Super Bowl party tomorrow. So I know my friends are hosting, and I'm dating the episode because we ain't gonna drop it anytime soon. But it's all good. We're gonna do the Super Bowl party tomorrow. My friends are hosting, and I know when people host, it's like you got a lot that you got to take care of. So I was like, yo, bro, let me know if y'all want me to bring something. So they're like, yo, go get the alcohol. We want like Malibu rum and like Lobos, Reposado, whatever. I don't really drink, so I don't really know what the hell. Like, I went in the liquor store, and I was like, yo, you got Malibu rum? I literally pulled up mine. I'm like, you got Malibu rum and Lobos, Reposado? And he was like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go grab that. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking maybe like $60 tops. Bro, $90. $90. So when you talk about how much, I was like, if you're going to do you had.
But this is the danger. Right at my crash out, I was going out and drinking cocktails every day, but then I started to be a wino.
Oh, so it's a little cheaper, right?
It's a little cheaper, but it's more dangerous because you rationalize drinking more because it's not hard liquor. So I was going,
this is juice.
This is juice. It's just a little wine.
Yeah.
Got 4 bottles of wine on the floor. You drinking just as much as somebody who going through a 5th of Hennessy. You talking about it's just wine. You on your 5th bottle. I'm not even pouring cups no more. So that's where the danger comes in because, it's just a little wine. Yeah. Women, we love to just wind down, wine this, wine that.
Girl, you can't be winding down that.
Can't be winding down that much. That's how I was getting it. I was losing time. I started losing time. And I love my relationship with my daughter because I call her my accountability partner.
Really?
She's like, you're not even here, mama. I got the tattoo, be present. I was not present. I was just gone. And I'm like, I'm making all of these memories, but sobriety allows you to keep the memories. So that's one of my favorite things. Okay. I don't want to just make the memories. I want to keep my memories.
Right. Nah, I love that. You have another piece. You call it, Do You Believe in God, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Talk to me about that piece and like the key moments of your healing journey. Like what also inspired that one?
Do You Believe in God is the only poem that I've ever written in one sitting from a future perspective, right?
Okay.
I wrote that in 2020.
2020, okay.
None of the things that I wrote about had happened at the time.
Okay.
Where I'm talking about my isolation, where I'm talking about me getting strong, where I'm talking about me healing, where I'm talking about me being successful and climbing the ladder. It was just like I was sleeping. Sweaty. I was sleeping and God woke me up and said, get this down. And I'm like, what, huh? And I just jump out of the bed and I wrote it in one sitting. It took me like 15 minutes. And it all came out at once because it was like a premonition of what's to come if I do all of these things. Because I go through the poem and say, ultimately it's about when I meet my husband, but I had to go through all of this self-work and self-healing and this self-connection with God before I ever got to you. And I love that poem so much because I remember reciting it back 5 years ago before any of the things had ever come true. And then when I started the healing journey in 2023, I was like, this is what that poem was about years ago. This is what I was talking about.
Words have power.
Words have power.
Mm.
That's why I don't perform certain pieces anymore. Because certain pieces kept me stuck in a cycle of dysfunction and toxicity. Can pay me to perform certain poems anymore. But Do You Believe in God was like a premonition piece. God woke me up out of my sleep and said, write it down, because he was trying to show me, if you do this, this is where it takes you. But I just wasn't ready to hear it at the time, but I'm glad I wrote it down.
Yeah.
And then now I listen like, oh my God, I'm living in the present moment of everything I wrote about in that poem. It's so crazy. I love that poem so much.
I love that for you too. And I think you do that a lot, right? So like you had a caption on your Instagram. As you could tell, we was digging through, right? So you had a caption on your Instagram where I think you put your, I don't know if it was the same piece or if it was something else. You put your marriage year. Can you talk to me about why you did that? Why are you laughing? Talk to me why you did that.
I'm like a master manifestor, right? And I know that all of the self-work that I've done was for myself.
Okay.
I'm doing these things for myself. I'm doing these things for my solitude, for my healing, for my daughter as well. But I also know that in becoming the woman of my dreams, then it gets me closer to being the woman of my husband's dreams. Like, I'm the woman that my husband prayed for. And I just feel him. Like, it's like an energy thing. Like, you went through all of these years getting it wrong. And now you've done all of the work. Not to say a man is a reward for the work, because I'm not even like dating for real right now. I did a whole year of celibacy, but it's just like an energy. Like, I can feel him close. So let me be prepared for him.
Let me get right.
So the marriage year is, I think I said 2026.
Yeah, you said 2026.
26. Like, I'm gonna meet him this year and I'm gonna get married next year.
Okay. Listen. I love that for you. I really love that a lot, because I think, like we talked about, words have power. And I think the reason why words actually have power is because the more you say it, the more your subconscious works towards it. Right? So like, I believe it for you. Like, 2026 will be it. And when I see the post and you pop out,
I knew it.
I'm like, yo, Kira, remember? We was talking about it. Nah. Yo, I had a guess, right? So I had a guess that we were talking about Black love. And he does research on Black love. He's like a PhD candidate that's at University of Kentucky, does research on Black love. And he's 30 and he's never been in a relationship.
Oh, wow.
Never been in a relationship before. Because he felt like he said he felt like he was never good enough. Like, he felt like he was too damaged, or like not good enough for the people that he wanted to go, be in a relationship with. And so I wanted to ask you, for the Black man that is navigating that space of feeling like he may be too damaged, or like not good enough, or not ready, or whatever the case may be for a relationship, like, what would you say to him? Because it was just so intriguing to me that was his thought process. And I was like, I just want to ask. I don't know. For some reason, I wanted to ask you about it and just see if you had any thoughts on that.
Two things can be true. Well, three things in this case. It can be true that he knows himself better than anyone can know. And he wants to protect people from him if he feels like he can do more harm than good in a relationship. Because sometimes we get into relationships before we're ready, and then we do harm to the other person that we're trying to love, or that's trying to come along to love us. And it can also be true that people can love you into your healing and evolution. And they can do that journey with you, alongside you, and help you become the person that you want to be. But the third thing is, so much of my healing journey of trying to find myself was just ultimately about me finding God. And I don't want to sound like that cliche Black person that God is the answer. But it's like, God is the answer. You get closer to God and God is going to tell you what you need to do. That discernment that comes from prayer of saying like, oh, I need to isolate myself. God gonna tell you if you need community. God gonna tell you if you need friendship. God gonna tell you if you need therapy. God gonna tell you if you need sobriety. God gonna tell you if you need to date and go through and learn yourself a little bit. So pray and get closer to God before you try to get closer to another person, because then it will be revealed what you need to do. Because what each of us need to do is different. Someone may need to go and date 4 or 5 people to figure out their relationship type and style. Someone may need to go on a journey of celibacy and not date nobody and isolate themselves. Someone might need community. Someone might need to just make some friends. And they're thinking that they need to isolate themselves altogether, but no, you just need some platonic intimacy. You might need a woman to come and love you like a sister. You might need a woman to come and love you like an auntie. You might need a woman to come and love you like a friend. That you need a woman, you just don't need a girlfriend. So I would say just pray and ask God what you need.
I'm glad I asked you that question. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, I have this question here. I don't know if we should ask it, but I'm so glad that I asked you because that was a good point about like sometimes we need women not in the capacity of like a romantic relationship, but like a platonic
I
relationship.
learned that.
Yeah, explain that. Explain why. Explain how you learned that.
Because I'm about to tell my business on this podcast.
Uh-oh.
There was this guy.
Okay.
Oh my God, so obsessed, so in love. We are going to be together. I'm telling all of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to his house and trying to slide, right? Because this is what I used to be on.
Okay.
What's up? Pull a dick out. This is what I used to be.
I'm sorry, that was mad funny.
Listen,
I'm not judging.
don't
I'm not.
judge.
It was just
Listen,
so
and we
funny.
don't
It was
judge.
just so funny. Now go ahead.
But,
Go ahead.
So I go to his house and I try, and he stops me, and he was like, what's making you try to do that? I was like, I mean, I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. Like,
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, what you mean?
And he was like, but we don't know each other yet. Like, we're still getting to know each other. And I was like, I mean, we can get to know each other after we fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I want to make you get intimate with me before we ever get intimate. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that you like intimacy with no intimacy. And I'm not doing that with you. And I was like, oh, so you don't want to fuck? Okay, so cool. We just gonna be friends. And he was like, I mean, sure, but we're just gonna build intimacy. So then it was just like, oh, that's a thing? To like have someone that you have deep intimacy with, deep connection with, deep bonding with, and no fucking? But I had to learn. That was the moment that I had to learn, like, oh, this is community. This is platonic intimacy. I can be just as close with you as I would be with someone I'm romantically involved with without the flowers, without the cuddling and laying up. But I can call you and I can cry with you. Yeah. And I could tell you my deepest fears and I could tell you all my problems and you can come help me when I need help and you can rescue me when I fall down. But it's no fucking though. But it's intimate. It's one of the most intimate relationships I ever had.
Really?
It's no fucking though.
Really?
And it was just like, oh, this is a thing. And I had to learn that, like, and then I started valuing platonic intimacy over sexual intimacy because it's men that I've been involved with sexually that I would never let get as close to me as this man I have this platonic intimacy with. It's crazy.
Really?
So I'm like, yeah, sometimes you don't need to lay up with someone. Sometimes you need to just be friends with someone for real.
Nah, that's okay. So up until that point where you had that relationship, did you believe that like intimacy was only like sexual? Like between like the only time you needed intimacy with a man was like sexual?
I believe that the only time you needed intimacy with a man you were attracted to will be sexual.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I had been in so many situations with men where I would give them my vulnerability and I would end up hurt from the intimacy.
Okay.
But in those situations where I would give men my body, I would never end up hurt because I can compartmentalize it as just being sex. I don't have any emotional connection to sex. So for me, it was just exercise. You know what I mean? We're just exercising. You want to work out? You know? So I was always like fine with just fucking because I never had my heart broke off dick. I've had my heart broke off intimacy though. So I learned to like avoid intimacy until that conversation. Like, oh, you want to be intimate with me, motherfucker? I don't know what you thought this was. You ain't about to just fuck me like you doing with everybody else. I'm not going for it. Like
he said, I have some pride about mine.
Standards. It's straight up. Like, you ain't about to just be out here fucking on me. I'm not one of those. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Clutches my pearls.
I can't believe. Nah, okay. Man. No, that's really good, man. I think, I wanted to ask you one about the type of men that you were messing with. Do you feel like before that guy, like, do you feel like they had a good sense of like their identity and like who they were and like a good sense of self-worth? Because I feel like when men have a good sense of self-worth, they would normally, they're more likely, I'm not going to say they are going to, more likely to respond like the guy that you were talking about. That's like, yo, nah, we ain't about to just be out here wilding.
I think that men are comfortable engaging in relationships with women for just sex if they believe that's all the woman has to offer. In my case is because men could always see that I had more to offer. I always dealt with the pushback of why can't it be more? And again, because I was so damaged, for lack of a better word, all I had to give you was sex. And they're like, no, but it can be this and be that. And I'm just like, no, I just want to fuck. I don't want all of this other stuff you're talking about. So it was just like, for a long time, I closed myself off to the possibility of allowing men to get anything more intimate with me. So then they would have their complaints and, oh, you ever called me for his dick? Why we can't do this? And you're caring, you're so loving, you're so this. And I try to explain, just because I have all of these great things on the table does not mean that's what I'm bringing to the table. This is my table. That's your table. I'm bringing coochie to your table. That's all there is. And it just would never work out. And then I just had to like stop and realize that men don't like to be used as sex objects, just as women don't like to be used as sex objects.
Say it again. Say that again, because here's why I want you to say it. Here's why I want you to say it again, Kara, because I feel like there's a big misconception that we as men, all we care about is having sex.
And I blame these movies for that because I really grew up thinking, what's the problem? Like, they sell you friends with benefits and just sex, and then you think that you're going to meet people in the real world and they're going to be with that. And it has never worked out in my favor. There's no self-respecting man that is only going to just, hey, come on, you trying to sleep? Like, no, eventually it's going to be like, can we go eat? Like, can you talk? And it's like, if I don't give a fuck about your day, I don't give a fuck about your mental. And again, like I said, I feel like it's easier to accept that from a woman if you feel like she has nothing else to her. But because these men know that I have all these other sides to me, I've never been able to just get away with only having sex with men. It always turns into, why is it only just sex with us?
Yeah.
So
let's talk a little bit deeper about why what was it something that happened in childhood for you? Was it something that like happened in your relationships early on that made you kind of cut off from like that vulnerability? Or was it really just like the earlier young adult relationships?
Definitely like a lot of abusive situations where you realize that it's easier to give away your body than it is to give away your heart. And if I give away my body, then maybe they don't want to expect my heart and they won't realize that my heart ain't in this. And I have never cared about a man before I had sex with him. I've learned to care about them after we're already engaged in sexual encounters.
Really?
But I've never been in love with a man prior to us laying down with each other. I've never had emotional connection with a man.
Still to this day?
Well, no, now I would say that one man I fuck.
Listen, you you still talk to him?
We're friends.
Oh, yeah, friends.
We're friends.
Okay.
But that's the only person that I can say I have loved and never touched. Every other man, I've learned to love you after we fucked for a while.
Really?
I've never got into bed with someone for the first time already caring about them. I've never done that. Not even my daughter's father. I fell in love with my daughter's father. We were like a year in before we started getting emotional with each other. Ever.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that until therapy. It was like, I remember telling my therapist, like, sobriety helped me with celibacy because I would only feel my sex drive when I was drunk. And then once I started drinking again, I started wanting to have sex again. And I was like, I'm realizing that I haven't had sex for the first time with someone sober in a long time. And I also haven't had sex with someone that I cared about first. Ever. And I can't even say in a long time. None of the men in my past, I could say that I had feelings for them before we laid together. It has always been, I like you, you like me, let's have sex first. And then feelings can develop, but I've never had the feelings first.
Yo, that is so interesting to me. Because I've been sold on the idea that in order for a woman to lay down with you, she has to have feelings for you.
Cap.
That's cap?
Listen, some of us are broken, okay? Some of us got trauma. Some of us just want to see if the dick is good enough to even feel like you're worth caring about. And this is past Kara talking, disclaimer.
Yeah.
I think that even men with mediocre sex games are worth being cared about. But in the past version of myself, I'm like, nigga, are you worth these emotions? What you gonna do for this vulnerability? Like, what you gonna do to make me care about you?
Really?
I've changed a lot, though. I've been
No, for sure. It's just good. It's interesting to hear that perspective because I be talking. It's so funny. I talk to I have a couple of friends that's like, or mainly one friend that's like really heavy into like sex and like sex positions and all these different kind of things. And, you know, I don't know what he's doing personally or anything like that, right? But we have conversations about some of the women that he be messing with. And he'd be like, yo, I can't do too much because if I do too much, she's going to get crazy. And I'm like, okay. So now when I hear you say this, you're like, I want to hear in the past, you're like, I want to see if this is worth me caring about you. Do you feel like part of that is like, is that part of it too? Like you getting like worth the person getting cared about, but like also gets you to a state where you kind of get crazy about them. Has that ever happened for you or no?
Oh yeah, I've been crazy. I have a chemical imbalance. So my crazy ain't that social media. Ooh, she a little kooky. She calling my phone 7 times. My crazy is climbing up the drain pipe into your window to break in your house crazy. I've gotten crazy before in my past. Mm-hmm. But I will say, I think it has something to do with me not seeing men as people and just seeing them as sex objects, right?
Okay.
Because is this worth me caring about you is such a crazy statement to make that I would make all the time.
Right.
I haven't dated a man for longer than 90 days in years.
Really?
And I would see them and I would tell them like, hey, you got 90 days with me. Enjoy them because I'm going to spin eventually. I'm going to find a reason to get out of this, to avoid getting close with you, to avoid even getting close with you. So don't love it here because your 90 days are going to be up. And they would all be like, watch the way I put it down. You ain't going to say that to me. And I'll be like, oh, that's what the last one said, but okay. I think it has something to do with, I think that if we don't see men as humans and people outside of them being our boyfriends, outside of them being our romantic partners and love interests and baby daddies, then we treat them in a certain way that has to fit into our narrative. And it's the same way with, I would assume, men with women. If you don't see your girl as a person, then you're going to think, what can I get out of this? And is this worth me doing this and that? But I think that to just humanizing each other is how I was able to maneuver through pull your dick out conversations with men, you know?
And you feel like your therapist helped you with that too?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. More so, I was getting out of that a little bit before I started therapy.
Yeah.
Because I had met this amazing man. Oh my God.
Is that the same guy?
No. This was someone I was actually dating. The guy that I was talking about is just a friend. Okay. But this is someone I was actually dating. Amazing. Ready to give me the world. Let's do life together. And I'm just like, there's something wrong with me. Cause
Did you still feel like he had 90 days too? Or do you feel like he
had his 90 days? And I remember we got close to the 90. And when I was ending it, I felt so bad because he was so confused. And he was just like, I knew it was a me thing, right? Because he was just like, we were so happy. Like, why are you talking to me like this? And where is this coming from? And I'm just like, your time is up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was something really wrong with me. Like intimacy and the idea of vulnerability is just, that's when I started therapy.
Yeah.
That's exactly when I started therapy. I called him and I was like, you don't want to love me. And he was like, but I already do. I was like, I'm okay with hurting men that I feel like I don't care about your feelings, but I cared about him. And I was just like, I can't do to you what I've done to every other man. So let me just go before I put any more of my Kara stuff on you. It's been a long journey of healing my relationship with Black men. But for sure, he had his 90 days.
So can you pinpoint a point in time that this started for you?
The 90 days?
Not that, yeah, well, maybe that, but also like kind of like your difficulty when it comes to like your relationship with men. Because I know you talked a lot about like you not wanting to be vulnerable because you've been hurt and all that kind of, was there like a specific point that you had that was like, okay, this was the start of it for you?
It's hard for me to say because it was my daughter's father, right? Our breakup was so traumatic for me that I didn't even realize I was traumatized until years later, and I was still crashing out about it. We were together for 10 years.
Okay.
He's the only person I was with as an adult, so I didn't know shit about dating. We lived together. He was my only real boyfriend, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then when we broke up when I got pregnant, and I felt like so betrayed and left and unprotected. Like, how
Yeah.
do you get me in this situation and then just deuces? Like, we've been together for a decade. Who's going to tell me something like that was going to happen? So I was scared to love again for a while. And then I fell in love with one of my closest friends who I had been friends with for like 10, 15 years or whatever. And I was so happy with him for a while. But then we were just like situationshiping it. And I felt like I put all of my vulnerability into that relationship and trying to get things to work for over a year. And like, look, I can love you. Why don't you love me back in the way that I need to be loved? Like, we've been friends for so long. Like, this works. This is supposed to work. And it didn't work. And I wasted like 2 years. And then I told myself, niggas ain't getting more than 90 days out of me after this. And I never even tried to love a man again after that. Because it was like I was so committed to giving him so much of that time that after that I was just like, oh, I'm not doing that again. I feel like in them first 90 days, I can tell if you're finna waste my goddamn time. And I'm out of here.
When was that 90 days like implemented? Like what year was that? Do you remember?
2021.
2021.
The year I turned 30. Because it was like, I don't have time to waste with you niggas no more.
Okay, Kira, I'm glad I asked that question. God is working right now. God is working. Indeed. So you turned 30. You like, hold up.
I just spent 2 years. This shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah, nah, I gotta make some changes. Also, as a woman, do you feel like you had like, okay, let me ask you this. Do you want to have more kids?
Yes.
You do want to have,
yes.
Okay.
And that's what has gone wrong in my last 3 situations.
What you mean?
Because I feel like lately I've been more attracted to men that are older than me. I like men that are in their 40s. I'm dating guys that's 10 years older than me, 15 years older than me. But they like, girl, my kids is grown. I'm not giving you no goddamn baby. So you better figure it out.
No more kids.
We could do the marriage, we could do the traveling, we could do the whole life together that you want, but I'm not having no more goddamn kids. And this has happened like 3 times in a row. And I'm like, damn, I gotta start fucking with young niggas again. But me wanting kids is the reason why I'm single right now. Because that guy that I was telling you about that I met and he was so amazing that I went and I got my shit back together. Yeah. We started seeing each other again after like a year of celibacy, sobriety, and therapy. I'm like, hey, babe, I'm back. But he still don't want no kids. And I'm like, okay, babe, I'm leaving. You know?
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah. It's a non-negotiable for me.
Nah, you better than me. I was in a relationship for 2 years with a shorty. She kept telling me she didn't want no kids. And I kept telling her, I don't know what you talking about. We gonna be having some kids. And we would, and like, I didn't believe that there was a woman on this earth that didn't want kids.
And you know the reason why I walk away from men when they tell me that? Because, for example, with the last guy that I was seeing, he loved me so much that he said, I'll have one with you.
Oh, really?
And I was like, this ain't gonna work. Because you having a kid for me and you don't also want to have this kid. I don't want no compromised baby. I want to have children with someone who wants to have children.
Right.
I don't want you to be like, damn, I really don't want to have kids, but I love her and I don't want to lose her, so I'm going to have this kid. Right. Because then you're going to end up resenting me when this motherfucker crying at 3.
You wanted that goddamn.
You wanted this baby, right?
Go deal.
Here, 50 years old in kindergarten and shit. You wanted this baby. So I'm like, you know what? I have to stop. My therapist said something to me recently because I was seeing this guy. He's like late 40s. Okay. Grown kids. Granddad, right?
Oh, no. Granddad is crazy. Granddad. That's crazy.
But it's just what I like.
Okay.
So I'm like, are you done having kids? He's like, girl, yes. Yes.
My kids are having
kids. So now I was like, damn, I guess his 90 days is about to run out.
Right.
He's at this point, we're having this conversation where like day 50 or whatever. My therapist is like, I think you're starting to purposely seek out men that it won't work with so you can have a fun 90 days with them. Instead of sitting there and waiting until you're found by the man that can give you what you want. Because your last few relationships have very clearly been men that can't give you what you want. And you keep going, well, if I just, he ain't going to be his 90 days though. And then the 90 days come and you move on to the next man that can't give you what you want. That's equivalent to staying with men for 2 years, not getting what you want. And I was like, you kind of loud, okay? Yeah. Don't be coming for me like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of what I'm learning now. I have to stop fucking with old niggas.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? There's this psychological thing that I learned. I took a psychology 101 class. I need to do more, but listen, that's what happened. That's what we took in college, right? And they talked about this thing called confirmation bias. Do you know what that is? Okay. So confirmation bias is if you believe a certain thing, you will work to prove that thing right. Even if there is evidence that proves it wrong. I feel like for you, you may potentially be dealing with a little bit of confirmation bias because you've been working on this 90-day program for so long. You're just out here looking for
nobody's going to be good enough to pass the 90-day mark.
Exactly. You're out here looking for and finding and entertaining men. And that might be what your therapist was talking about. That confirm your bias already, which is that men can't get past the 90 days. So I really think, one, you may need to abolish the 90 days thing. Because you're talking about, one, Kira, the reason why I'm saying this, Kira, is because, hold on. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm not judging. It's just interesting to me that you know what happened at day 50. That means you're literally mentally always thinking and counting down.
It wasn't 50 exactly.
I know,
it was
but
like close to like, oh, you're almost there.
Yeah, but you're thinking about it. And that's impacting the way in which you show up in that relationship. Because it's either you're rushing it or you're like, there's only one of two things that can happen when you have a timeline. Whenever you have a timeline on something, there's only one of two things that can happen. You either make it happen in that timeline and rush it, or it doesn't happen in that timeline and you don't give it enough time. You get what I'm saying? There's only one of two things that can happen, in my opinion, right? So I really do feel like if you allowed yourself to not have the 90 days and really get to know somebody that fulfills your like criteria and requirements, not just settle in for anybody.
Right.
I do feel like you'd be able to find something that will work for you. Because
I think that's part of the fear as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because I ain't gonna fall in love with nobody in 90 days.
Yeah, you're not.
So it's like, as long as I keep switching y'all out, then I don't have to care about any of y'all. And if I just get out before I fall for you, then I can't get hurt when it ends. Because it was only 90 days.
Have y'all talked about attachment styles?
Not yet, no.
You haven't talked about attachment styles? Okay. I have a good idea what yours is, but I'll let your therapist do their work. I ain't gonna come in and start stirring some stuff up. But maybe you should talk about that a little bit and just kind of understand and identify what your attachment style is. It might help you a lot. That was very useful for me in therapy. Like when we started talking about attachment styles, I realized why I navigated my relationships the way I did.
I think the reason we haven't touched too much on it because I've been in therapy for a year, but I was also celibate that year.
Okay.
So there were no men to talk about for the entire year. I wasn't dating anybody. So I just started back talking to guys in October.
Okay.
So it's very new. She's going, okay, you're back dating. Let me see where we're at with it. Because you've been my client for over a year now, but men haven't been a part of our sessions.
Right.
It has all been mental health, healing, sobriety. Mental health, healing, sobriety. So now that you are back dating, it's like starting therapy all over again.
Yeah.
Because you're my client, but this is new.
Yeah.
We haven't got to cover this over the year.
Yeah.
So therapy is old for me, but dating and therapy is new. So we're getting there with all of the dating questions.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out. And
I'm excited for you for real. Like I'm really actually excited for you. I'm excited for any time somebody's in therapy because I know how much it's done for me. And I love to see people go through their journey and also be public about it. I like that you've been super transparent. Like this is very important for us to like hear you going through the process. Like you're a human being. Like these are some of the things that you thought. These are some of the things that you're working through.
And I feel like as someone who is so influential, I never tried to be an influencer, right? You don't see me Fashion Nova, use my code to buy this. I don't do the whole influencer culture, but I'm a creative. And unfortunately, when I'm expressing my creative process and the things that I've gone through, it influences people.
It does.
So even if I'm not trying, I am being influential. And what has happened is there's 10 years now of me influencing people in the wrong way. So that's why I feel like I have to be extremely transparent with this journey because I'm ultimately undoing so much of the damage I did. So much of the things I influenced, the crash outs I contributed to. So that's why I'm just like, hey, are we signing up for therapy? I've gotten hundreds of people signed up for therapy. I partner with BetterHelp. Hundreds and hundreds of people signed up for therapy. My latest book, I typically do poetry essay quotes for my books. I didn't write a single essay in my book. I collaborated with 8 licensed therapists to submit the essays for the book, and I just do the poetry. That way my followers or my supporters in general are just familiar with the fact that Kira's a creative. I'm contributing these poems, but these professionals are going to contribute the advice and the help. I'm not a professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I'm not qualified. I would get on stage and say, I am not qualified.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, people don't hear that. They hear what you say.
Right.
Even if I say, hey, I'm not qualified to give you the advice, but then I get to talking.
Yeah.
The first part of that went out the window. You still gonna listen to what I said.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now I'm just not saying too much and I'm saying go to therapy.
Yeah. And you know what the thing is too, Kira? Like I told you about poets, y'all have a way of making people feel. Mm-hmm. And it's not just what you say, it's how you make people feel. And how when people feel that you resonate with their experience, you automatically become more credible in their eyes. Mm. It's just a natural thing. That's why people gravitate to this platform. I'm not a therapist. I'm not qualified. I have none of those things. But at the same time, I can tell you how black men feel because I'm a black man and I've gone through the same things. And so that's why they listen. So I do think it's very important to like be like, yo, listen, like I'm not qualified. Here's where you can go, but also here's what is going on.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Because that gives people it helps people to identify what they may have going on so that they can take that step.
Right.
You feel me? You wanting to have kids, yes. Right? Is there anything else that, you know, you have in terms of like criteria or requirements that you're looking for in a potential partner? Like, what do you normally look for?
I need a funny man.
Okay, funny.
I'm a clown. Mm-hmm. And we need to be laughing all day.
You are very funny. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know you was this funny. I be seeing the poets. You be looking real serious.
Nope, I be laughing all day. Yeah. My nickname in my family, my daddy calls me Giggly Poo because I just came out laughing.
Okay.
So he'll like Poodle because I just be laughing all day. Mm-hmm. I like to laugh, so I need a man who's funny like me. So we don't have to be serious all the time. Let's just cut up. And I also need a protector because I'm navigating through life as a black woman and I often feel unsafe. So I need, like I said, I need to just feel safe in your voice. Mm-hmm. I need to feel like nothing's going to happen to me when I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I need to feel like you could solve every problem. Even if you can't, I need my Superman. And this is where I fucked up. I typically only date guys with locks.
Really? It's a spiritual thing?
No, I went to high school in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I just always been super attractive to locks growing up.
Really?
And, but I think that's just my obsession with locks was I also didn't have my own locks. Okay. So now that I have my own locks, I'm a little bit more open to dating a guy that doesn't have locks.
Okay.
But I just love me some locks.
So how you from New York? Mm-hmm. And you don't like dudes with like the taper fade, none of that, the wave, none of that?
I mean, they cool, but again, most of my time dating here
my
daughter's
okay.
I had the one way.
Right.
And then he's crazy. So it wasn't like I could go and date a whole bunch of people in New York. I had my one little boyfriend and we had our one child. And then when we broke up, I was like, all right, I'm going down south to restart my life.
Right.
This ain't that.
I want to ask you about, because you talked about your level of vulnerability. Did you ever have men that were vulnerable with you?
All men.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you feel like you know how to handle men's vulnerability? Do you
Absolutely.
know? Okay. What are some things that you do when a man is vulnerable? Because I feel like a lot of women don't.
I was actually talking to one of my close friends yesterday, Cito.
Okay, Cito, yeah.
And Cito
Shout out Cito.
Because we were going through it for a time. We stopped speaking for like a year.
Really?
And we just started speaking again and we're unpacking everything that happened throughout that year and how we both kind of just lost ourselves. Mm-hmm. And Cito said, I think the friendship breakup hit me so hard because you go through life experiencing women that don't get you. And you were the first person that I felt like saw me. Like you really made me feel seen. So during that period of time where we weren't speaking, I was wondering like, am I ever going to feel seen again? Like, so I think that the way that I make men feel seen, like I hear you, I got you, I know you, it's safe here, is the way that I'm able to relate to men. Hence why I have so many male friends. Like men just gravitate towards my energy because outside of social media, with all of that fuck this nigga stuff, that's not going on in my real life. My male friends know that I got them. I'll do anything for them. Just holding space for men to have safe spaces to cry. Have safe spaces to make mistakes and not be judged for them. Have safe spaces to be weak, right? Because I seen a quote one time that says men's depression is handled differently than women. It needs to be handled differently than women's depression. Okay. Because when a woman is depressed, she needs to feel, it's okay, baby, I got you. And we need to feel comforted. Right. But when a man is battling depression, he needs to still feel strong. Like, don't worry about it. You still him. Because if you start treating him like it's okay, baby, then he starts to feel weak and that just furthers his depression. But I've always found that with me, this is a safe space to be weak. This is a safe space to, it's okay, baby, cry here, like a grandmother. I got them grandma hugs.
We be needing that.
You be needing that. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's too much of men needing to be strong. Yeah. And I get it because I love the protection, but allow me to protect you sometimes. I got you. Come here. Come feel held. Come feel closed in these arms and feel safe here. So I think that that's how I contribute to my male friendships as opposed to like my male relationships and things like that.
No, I like that you just said that because, man, again, I'm dating the episode, but it's okay. We just had some plane crashes that happened, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to fly over to New York. Mm-hmm. And I was very anxious. I'm just a person that deals with a lot of anxiety, point blank, period. Mm-hmm. So that learning about the crashes and then knowing that I had to fly was like anxiety inducing. And I was praying to God about it, talking about it. And I get on the plane and I'm sitting next to two black women. Like older black women, like literally grandmas. Like could be grandma and great grandma, for real. And I kid you not, Kira, I fly more than the average person. I've never been on a plane sitting next to two black women. Never. I've never had a flight where I'm literally sitting next to two black women. And for me in that moment, it was almost like God was telling me like, yo, bro, you straight. And just their presence in itself made me feel more comfortable as a black man. And she was like, she didn't even realize what she was doing. She was just being her stuff. She's like, hey, you want this wipe? Typical grandma stuff to do. Hey, I got these wipes. You want to wipe down the tray? I said, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. But all of that in itself made me feel safe and protected. And I think that we don't understand or value, or maybe understand, like we don't understand like how critical of a role y'all play as black women. Like y'all really do be protecting us, dude. Like y'all do create these spaces where we can walk into it and feel more safe and feel more comfortable. And I think what Cito was alluding to is like, yo, bro, like exactly what you said. Like you were someone that created this space for me and now I don't have it.
Have that space.
You feel me? Yeah. And so that's really impacting.
It was the dynamic that affected both of us.
Yeah.
Because it was like, life stopped feeling real after we stopped speaking. It's like everything is just fake now without the one person that I go to for everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was the absence. You're missing that absence. I'm missing that absence. It's like, all right, we got to figure this shit out. Something has to give.
You got another piece called India, right?
Yes.
Where you're talking about like kind of like body image issues and like society's, the way society represents women and all these different kind of things. Can you talk to me about that in itself? Because I have relationships with black women. And I feel like y'all are going through a lot right now with society and like just the way y'all are perceived, like what's expected, like beauty standards. It's a lot right now. So explain to me what inspired that, but then also like your thoughts on just that as a whole.
Being in the entertainment industry, there's always pressure to alter yourself because I live on camera. I'm always doing an interview. I'm always doing a show. I'm always on somebody's stage.
Yep.
So every little detail about me is getting picked apart. I don't have a job where you can't see my face. And I remember riding a train one time and I ran into this black woman. She was just so vibrant. She's just like walking through the cart, smiling, laughing and everything. And then she got to the cart and I seen her pull out this big ass marker. Because she stopped like, oh my God, sis, you're so pretty, da-da-da. And then she pulled out a big ass marker. I said, what are you doing? She said, well, on this train, every cart you go to, there's a different advertisement for body enhancements for women. You need new boobs. You need new butt. You need to Botox. You need to change. So she said, I'm just walking around defacing the ads. And she was going from cart to cart like, do you know what it feels like to have these A cups? And I get on the cart and every day it's telling me your boobs are too little. And you see that when you're just trying to get to work until it gets in your head that your boobs are not enough and your body's not enough. She was just walking around like, oh yeah, I just keep a marker on me to deface the ad every time I see it. And I was like, you are my fucking hero, bro. To be able to see what they're trying to do and see what they're trying to push into us and say, I'm cool on it. I'm good. And it's like, that's why I say there's an attack on confidence right now because they're trying to make sure that you don't feel good about yourself. It's no longer how I feel like in the 90s, surgeries was something that was elective. an elective surgery. Like, if I want to enhance this thing about myself, then I should be able to do that. This is my freedom. But in the years that we're talking in now, it's almost as if, look at you if you don't go do something about that. How dare you be okay with your saggy titties? How dare you let the world see your stomach without the binding things to make it look flat? Your butt is flat. Wow. As a grown woman, you're not going to do anything to fix it? Fix it, fix it, fix it. Your lips are thin. This is disgusting. Your cheekbones. Don't you want a little filler hair? Don't you want to look like this? Don't you want to look younger? Don't you have wrinkles? You're 40 and you look 40. That's crazy. You're 40. You should look 20. You've had 3 kids. Your stomach shouldn't be able to tell people that you've had 3 kids. Go do something about those stretch marks. Tummy tuck it. Cut your body open. Pull the skin down. Cut it out. Your titties have fed children. I should not be able to tell that those breasts have fed children. Fix them. Put the balloons in there. Lift them up. Do something about it. Do something about it. Do something about it. And I was just like, I have to do something about it because it's not normal. The pressure that we put on women to not look like our bodies are lived in. These are the things that are keeping us alive. Look at how we talking ourselves. Look at how we treat in our vessel. Do we not love ourselves? And it goes into the conversation. That's why I brought it around for full circle at the end of the piece. I can't properly love myself sleeping with everybody. I can't properly love my brothers if I'm killing everybody. And again, I can't properly love myself if I keep doing things to alter myself. Because quiet as kept, every woman I know surgery has not had surgery one time. It's something that becomes, I got to fix this now. I got to fix that now. Maybe I should change this too. Nothing is ever going to be good enough. And as a girl mom, my biggest thing with the whole surgery culture that these women are not understanding, it's like, say you change your whole face, right? Your baby going to look like you. The real you. Why are you not okay with how you look? And eventually your baby is going to have your reflection, not the face you went and bought. You're going to have to look into your baby's face that looks like your face. It's a serious thing. And it's like, how do you teach your daughters to be confident when you weren't confident enough to be yourself? How can I teach my daughter to love her body if I keep changing minds? How can I teach her to love her skin if I'm bleaching minds? How can I teach her to love her hair if I don't wear minds? I can teach you nothing of self-love if I don't have it. And I think it was such a serious piece for me as a girl mom specifically. It's titled India after a video by India Ari.
Yeah, she commented on it. I saw she commented on it.
Listen, she sent me a long message about it, and we had a whole conversation about it. India Ari, shout out to India Ari. She's amazing. I was in the house crying.
I love it.
But she just spoke life into me and affirmed me that she's so proud of what I'm doing to be able to be brave enough to say these things, because it's ultimately like we're living in a culture that if you speak on anything, then people think you're judging it or talking shit and how dare you say this and that about nothing. And I'm like, okay, but people are dying.
Right.
There's people dying. We can't keep acting like people are not dying for this shit. I've got so many friends that have almost lost their lives to this shit. I know women who have died from it. And we're going to just keep asking like, no judgment. Let people do what they want to do. Y'all are dying. Dying on them tables. Y'all don't want to be here for y'all kids? The mommy makeover culture, have a kid, then 2 weeks later go get surgery and die? Y'all don't want to be here to actually raise these kids? Because I guarantee you, my favorite thing about my mother growing up, I don't give a fuck what her body looked like.
Yeah.
It's insane, the pressure that we're putting on ourselves. It's insane.
So how are you navigating this with your daughter specifically, too? Because, like, you have a daughter, right? So, like, what are some of the things that you're trying to instill in her to make sure that she doesn't have to, like, deal with this?
One, I limit her use of social media.
Okay.
So she don't have no TikToks. The Instagram page or whatever that's up, that's all me running it if she wants a video shared, right?
Sure.
Because I find that with these new young girls, it's so much worse because it's comparing.
Right.
And then it's filters. Nobody even has their face online. It's Facetunes and Photoshop. So I don't let my daughter take part in none of that. I'm real world talking to you. You're going to go outside and touch grass. Because you notice the girls that have the deepest self-esteem issues are the ones that are caught up on the followers and the likes and the clicks. My baby will not be a social media baby. But I'm also affirming her. Most of the women who are going to constantly change things about themselves, when you get to talking to them, somebody was saying something negative about the thing that they once were happy with. You loved your body up until somebody told you, oh, you so skinny. And then now you feel like, oh, I got to get thick. You love the thing about you until somebody came and made you not love it. or somebody showed you, oh, you could look like this. And then, so I'm big on affirmations in my house. I let her know that she's incredibly beautiful. We make sure that we put the emphasis on the realness of you. Because if I can't get you to love how you are born, then you're fucked when you go outside. If I can't get you to show your face without, my daughter made me stop using filters. She made me stop using filters. I was heavy on the filters.
Really?
She came up to me. I was recording a video one day, like, oh, doing my whole spiel. She came up, put her hands, because you know when you put your hands over the filter, it goes up.
Oh, yeah.
Came and put her hands on my face and just grabbed my face like, I just want my mama back. This don't look like my mom.
Yo, your daughter got an old soul, son.
She do, for sure. As much as she needs me, I need her, man.
Nah.
She made me stop with the filters.
Mm-hmm.
She made me stop with a lot of my behaviors and stuff, but for sure, that's how we work on it. Stay present.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do you feel like your daughter has helped you heal?
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Yeah.
In ways that I didn't imagine, because initially I thought that she would be helping me heal my inner child.
Okay.
You think that you get to do your childhood over, and I get to give her all of the things that I didn't get and give her all of the love that I didn't get. But because I've been speaking affirmations into her since young, it's become a part of her existence and identity to now where she is able to affirm me and correct me in ways that I'm slipping that I don't see. Like, she pays me so close that she's able to call things out. And like I said, she's the reason I stopped drinking for real. Because she was just like, Mama, I know, because I was quick to be like, this grown-up juice, girl, leave me alone. And she's like, you done had grown-up juice about a little bit too much. A little bit too much on the grown-up juice. Now to this day, when she see me with a cup of mine, she be like, let that be your last glass now, Mama. And then people be like, you gonna let your daughter talk to you like that? I'm like, she's the one that has to live with me. She's the one that has to get raised by me. Would you want an alcoholic mother? No. So she has the right to say, let that be your last glass when she see me drinking. Yes, that's our relationship. She's the one that has to deal with the consequences of my actions. So she has every right to correct my behavior. Absolutely. You know what? I'm a chill.
That's
because y'all going to fuck home. I am responsible for her childhood. I am affecting her. Everything that I do affects her. So she has every right to call it out if she see it and don't like it. Let that be your last drink.
Nah, Kira, that's actually fire, bro. Because, you know, I grew up, I don't know what your background is and like what your parents are, but my dad is Ghanaian, my mom is Trinidadian. And growing up in like an Afro-Caribbean household, I'm not saying that you can't correct your parents, but it's just like, it's not going to be received like that. It's going to be like, boy, who the hell you think you are?
And my parents are both Black Americans, and they wasn't staying in a child's place until
Right.
I couldn't tell them nothing about themselves until I became an adult and say, hey, this way you fucked up.
Right. Exactly. So I think it's dope for you to have that relationship with your daughter where she can call you out and you're not going to be on some shut up.
I can't.
Yeah.
Because this is your childhood that I'm fucking up over here with this drinking and this crashing out. I don't get to affect your life and not allow you to weigh in on it.
Yeah.
I should be able to allow you to hold me accountable because ultimately this is my life that you're doing this to. So yeah, I let her call me out on anything, whether it be dating. If I'm dating a guy she don't like, she gets to say. Because ultimately, whoever I bring in our house is going to be around you. So yeah, I don't get to just say, well, you a kid. No, I have to take everything you say into consideration. And I don't treat her like an adult, but I treat her like a human to where she's able to have discourse with me.
Yeah, that's important. Because you know what you're also teaching her with that is that you're teaching her how to have her own voice. And that's very important, especially at a young age. I think, like my girl and I talk about this. We talk about how like it's hard for us sometimes to like have conversations about certain things or like conflict because we weren't introduced to conflict with older people when we were younger. So now like when we're in our professions and like we're dealing with like older people or older gentlemen or whatever the case may be, it's hard for us to have those conversations about, well, this ain't right. This shouldn't be done this way because all of our lives, we couldn't talk back to somebody.
Back to your elder.
You get what I'm saying? Like one of the things that I learned in this house is like, you respect your elders. And respect was your elders do whatever and you let them do whatever, basically. If there's something going on and you know it's wrong, it don't matter if you know it's wrong because that's your elder anyway. You feel me? So it's like, I think that creates a child that grows into an adult that doesn't know how to have interactions with people that may be older than them, that may potentially also be causing them harm or doing things that are wrong. So you allowing her to do that is good. She's going to grow into a young woman that's able to articulate herself, express herself, and be around older people. They'll be like, what the
like, I don't know who you talking to.
Yeah, but she's going to be right.
Very different than me.
Yeah,
very different than me. And I love it because our dynamics will always be different. Because as now she's the only child in my household.
Okay.
But when I do start having kids, she'll be the eldest girl.
Yeah.
And you know, the stigma of the eldest girl is the boss.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that I was preparing her for a life of nobody can play with the eldest girl.
Right.
My daughter is good. I'm a baby girl. So I can't relate. So I had to just make sure that I was preparing you for the role that you was going to take on. I'm the last girl in my family, but you're the first.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's so headstrong. I love it.
Yeah, nah, that's dope. I want to go back to the part about like when we talked about body image and like, you know, how society makes women like feel like they need to get all these surgeries and stuff. What can we as men do to create like a better space or a better mental for you guys so that you're not, I know we can't change the way you feel, but are there some things that you feel like are helpful that we could potentially do?
Affirmations.
Affirmations.
Everybody talks about love languages and what their primary love language is. But I believe that just simply affirming each other in a way that can uplift you when you didn't even think that you needed it. Because whether women want to admit it or not, a lot of these surgeries are done for the male validation. Do you know how I know? Because it's happening a lot more in heterosexual women than it's happening in lesbians. Because the lesbians are appreciating the female body. But then the men may necessarily not be. Your titty saggy. Your stomach look like an oatmeal cream pie. These are the memes that we see.
I didn't see the oatmeal cream pie one, but that's
It's an oatmeal cream pie with all of the lines in it. And then it's a woman with stretch marks with all of the lines in her stomach. And they put the oatmeal cream pie next to the stomach and said, this is how you look.
That's crazy.
And it's like, we are creating humans for you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
None of y'all would be here if we wasn't risking getting these oatmeal cream pie stomachs. But these are the things that we see from men. These comments ain't coming from women. It's not. The self-esteem issues, we could lie all day on social media with the, I'm doing this for myself. You're not. You're doing it for male validation. You're doing it to be attractive to men. You know how I know? Because I can't see what my ass looks like. My ass is behind me every day. You know who sees my ass? Men. My ass can't affect my self-esteem. I don't see my ass. So I would never get a BBL from my self-esteem. I'm doing that for the person that's behind my ass. You see what I'm saying? You can't sell me that fantasy of doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the male validation. So in order for women to stop doing these things for the male validation, then we have to start affirming women that they are fine as they are. And if men just start screaming as loud as they possibly can, I love your body. It's perfect in its form. Oh, I love them creases in your legs. I love the sag of your boobs. I love your tiger stripes. I love when men say tiger stripes. I love men who affirm that way because it boosts the self-esteem. Now, should we be able to feel these ways independent of the male validation? Absolutely. But we're talking about the concept of altering our bodies. For the most part, we're altering our sexual organs.
Right.
So it's like, yeah. We have to get that under control. With the BBO culture can be fixed a lot with the affirmations from me. And as far as like the tummy tuck culture, I think that can be fixed a lot with therapy.
Okay, explain that.
Because the tummy tucks, breast implants, BBLs, Botox, those are all like 4 different things that causes for it. I feel like the girls that are getting the BBLs are getting the BBLs for the men, and the girls that are for the most part getting the boobs and the tummy tucks are getting them because they want to look like how they looked before they had kids. No matter what you get done to your body created children. You're not gonna look how you looked then. And we're getting older. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to get wrinkled. It's okay to get saggy. It's okay for the boobs to not be to your chin no more. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? And I don't think that a man's affirmation is going to get a woman through that season of feeling like, I hate my body now.
Yeah.
I think that that's a thing that you would have to go to therapy to work on your body image. If your body image is looking in the mirror going, what happened to how I used to look? Then therapy can only fix that. But if your body image is, damn, I wish I had a bigger booty, than a man going, I like you in your little booty. That could fix that. But ain't an affirmation you can do that can fix looking at your stomach and seeing lines. You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying.
It's so much more of a mental thing because I can see this.
Yeah.
You know, like every day my body looks different. It's changed so much. So therapy can definitely help with that for sure.
Do you feel like you ever struggled with that? And if you did, how did you navigate it?
I love my body.
Okay.
I do. And again, I grew up listening to India RE.
Okay.
I keep that song on repeat. Imagine as a child where you're hearing I'm not the average girl from your video, and I ain't built like a supermodel, because I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen. Them type of affirmations, it just allowed me to always say, no matter what I look like, no matter if the weight goes up and down, no matter if my legs ain't shaved, no matter if my clothes ain't fancy, I grew up to that type of affirmation music that I just always knew I was enough. So when the culture started pushing the BBL agenda, it didn't work on me. Because I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill and India RE telling me I was beautiful and Music Soul Child. Like growing up listening to Neo Soul, you ain't getting caught up in that shit. So it never worked on me. The self-esteem attacks, I just always felt like even when I was bigger, I always knew that it was something I could do about my weight. I never thought, okay, I'm 250 pounds, which I have been. Let me go get surgery. Because I rationalized it to say, Kara, if I'm 250 pounds, that means it's plaque in my heart right now. And if I go and I suck the fat out of my stomach and my back, that does not fix the plaque in my heart. That means I'm going to have this slim body and my heart is still going to be the heart of someone who's 250 pounds. So if I want to get my heart in order, which is on the inside, then I have to lose the weight naturally. So I'm just not a fit person with unhealthy inside bodies. What's going to happen with this generation, we're going to see so many more people having these strokes and these heart attacks. And you're going to be like, they were so fit. Aha, they looked fit, but they wasn't in no gym. They wasn't eating right. They just kept sucking out the fat. The fat is the signal to tell you what's going on in your body.
No, it's a fact.
When your body starts storing fat, it's like, hey, you're doing too much with this fucking sugar now. Too much cholesterol, too much carbohydrates. It's a signal. So then you take the signal and say, oh, damn, I got to eat better. Why don't we think like that? Why do we think, let me just go suck the fat out? But you're not going to listen to what your body needs. Your body needs you to go to the gym. So I've always just rationalized it as, even if I get in shape on a table, that's not going to fix the plaque in my arteries. I need to go to the gym to work it out to get my heart back in shape and get my blood pressure back down. Y'all be fine as hell and your blood pressure be insane. Like, we can't keep surgerying the outside and not fixing the inside. That's why I love the BBL girls that be in the gym. Because they be like, yeah, the BBL cute, but bitch, you got to work out. You got to. You have to. And the people on social media be like, how you get surgery and you start trying to sell a gym routine because they want to stay fine. You don't just go and get the surgery and then just never maintain the body. You still got to go fix your heart in the gym.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the way you talk about this too, because there's no way you can get mad at the way that you articulate your points. Like, I really like the way you articulate your points because, like, you're covering it from all angles. And that's really important because people always try to find something that they could, like, grab and be upset about. And I'm like, there's nothing you can really be upset about. This is real honesty. The
most ignorant thing that people do when it comes to discussing surgery culture is bashing the people who get the surgery. If you feel like someone is insecure about something, then how was you dogpiling them and telling them they're stupid for it and they should just love themselves and look at y'all look like ants and all of this other dumb shit that people say to people that get surgery online going to fix their self-esteem? Don't you think that makes them feel worse? Don't you think that if someone feels bad about themselves enough that they are willing to risk their life on the table and potentially die to change the way they look, that they feel bad on the inside? So knowing that, how could you then go talk to somebody with anything less than love? When I'm seeing someone who is willing to die, because ultimately you might die on that table. If I'm seeing someone who is willing to risk their life and die for some butt cheeks, for a flatter stomach, then I know that you don't need nothing from me but my love in this moment. You don't need my judgment. You don't need me telling you dumb. You need to be loved. How can I love you into feeling good about yourself that you don't want to risk your life to try that? You know what I mean? Why are we not loving each other through the things instead of judging them? Like, that makes sense to you?
Nah.
It's crazy.
It is.
You see somebody insecure and say, oh, you're insecure. Let me talk shit about you. No. If I see you insecure, I'm gonna tell you how fine you are, how much you don't need this, and how much you don't need that, and how we can get out of this Western world mentality. Because again, surgery has always been around, but the culture of it and what it's doing right now is very new. It's very new.
Yeah.
That's why people talk about 90s fine. You know why? Because they wasn't going for this shit that these girls is going for today.
I ain't gonna lie. I never knew surgeries was as prominent as they are. Like, people did not, I don't feel like people, like, when I was in middle school and high school, I mean, granted, I was in middle school and high school, so I didn't really know nothing about that, but
right.
I don't think it was that big of a thing.
Because we had so much more affirmation music. You would turn on the TV and see chocolate girls and natural hair girls and slim body girls and bigger girls and girls that look like every walk of life be celebrated. And then when you reach a point in culture where the only thing that's celebrated is the artificial, then you're not seeing represented, and you start to feel like it's something wrong with me if I don't fit the narrative of the artificial. They don't even look like that. So you trying to look like something that's not even real, and then everybody goes to proceed towards the fake. But it's a cultural thing with the media right now.
I want to ask you, how can we help y'all heal outside of, I know you talked about affirmation, but like what are some other things that we as Black men can do to help our women heal? That you would,
The thing that Black men can do to help their women heal is heal themselves. Because so many Black women are suffering through the trauma of the things that someone else's childhood went through. We are going through and trying to heal ourselves because y'all refuse to heal. So if you want to help Black women heal, focus on your own healing so much that you don't traumatize Black women. There's a line I say in one of my poems. Women shouldn't have to be casualties to the growth of men, because after all them years getting used, y'all look for love and comfort in the same arms that y'all have beaten down and emotionally bruised. Y'all do so much. And then after y'all finish, be like, why don't our women love us? Y'all are destroying us. Go heal, and then come back and see if the healed version of you don't know how to love a Black woman properly. Because when you are loved by a healed Black man, it's so different. I think that's why I like to fuck with men in their 40s. I'm not gonna lie. I be fucking with niggas after they second marriage, after they infidelity, after they scandals, after they anger issues, after they journeys of working through life. I like to fuck with the men in their 40s because it's like you finished with all of that shit. I get the finished product. Not saying I want the finished product, but it's like if the men in their 30s just start now, then we won't have to keep going to the motherfuckers in their 40s, because I don't feel like going through this decade of trauma because y'all don't want to go talk to the lady. But I think that is one of the most important things in Black men helping Black women heal is healing yourselves. Because the more healing work that y'all do, the less damage y'all can do on us. The more healing work that y'all do for yourself, the less damage y'all can do on us. So that's...
And also the more we can help y'all with what y'all got going on too. That's a fact. We got a tradition on the podcast. We have a new tradition.
Okay.
Relatively new. So at the end of the episode, we always ask every guest to speak to the Black man that's struggling, right? So I'm going to ask you, what would you say to the Black man that's struggling right now? And you don't got to look at me. Look in the camera. You know, you got your camera. Whenever you're ready. So, take your time to see you prepared. And whenever you feel ready, you go ahead and you say what you want to say to the camera. And we can also edit, pre-record, all that kind of stuff, so don't stress.
My message to the Black man that is struggling would be, I need you to know that you're not your accolades and acts of service. I need you to know that you are not the things that you accomplish, and you are not the things that you do for people. I need you to know that you are your existence. And we love you for your existence, whether you help us with anything or not. We love you for your existence, whether you accomplish nothing or not. I don't love you because you're so powerful and you've done all of these great things. I don't love you because you're so supportive and you're able to run to the rescue and be Mr. Fix-It. We just simply love you because you exist. Your existence is enough. So even if you wake up today and you do nothing for nobody but yourself, you just simply get out of bed, you don't make no money, you don't take no phone calls, you don't move no furniture, you don't do no favors, you just simply exist in your skin, in your entity, that is enough. You are enough all on your own outside of the things you do to help people. And you are enough on your own outside of anything that you accomplish. Because even if you accomplish nothing, you are everything just because you exist.
Kira, damn, that was fire. Can you tell the people where to find you, how they can support you, anything that you got coming up?
You can find me on Instagram at all things Kara J, and all across social media at I am Kara J. That'll be YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all of the things. I am going to be touring this summer, so look out for the dates. And as I am in this new journey of speaking life and love and undoing so much of the damage I've done, I would love for you Black men to come out and just support me and take this new walk with me. And forgive me for talking shit about y'all for years.
You know why? You know why I think this is so impactful? Because I remember seeing your content and I was like, man, this woman got so much stuff going on. And I'm so glad that you're...
Write me off.
Yeah, no, not even that I didn't write you off, because it's not my position to judge. Right, like I'm not perfect. I got my own stuff. I've done my dirt. Right, so not my position to judge. I'm glad that you got to the point. You know what I'm saying? Where you can now articulate and be open and honest and, you know, transparent about like, nah, this is where I was at. I was kind of bugging, and, you know, like this is what was going
Scratching
on.
out.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I think this part of you is gonna do way more and have so much more of an impact than that version of you.
Absolutely.
I really do believe it.
Because
I really
the
do.
impact doing something negative versus the impact doing something positive just feels completely different.
Absolutely. Man, Kara J, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, man. This is dope.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals, so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best, and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got no nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for. We got way too much to